What's going on, fam? Josh here, back in the dojo, and today we're coming straight from the book of ChatGPT.
What if I told you the person you keep looking to for answers is you? Seriously, think about it. We live in a world overflowing with advice, opinions, and influences, telling us what to do, how to think, and who to be. But in all that noise, have you forgotten how to listen to your own voice? Because deep down, you already know. You just forgotten how to trust it. Today's video is about something powerful and often overlooked. You have the answers. They're not out there, they're inside. This isn't some motivational fluff. This is a shift in how you move through your life. I break this down in two key areas, each one with a takeaway, and each one with a simple action step you can apply today. So let's dive in.
So what I decided to do was use technology. I used, AI and ChatGPT and tools like Runway, Midjourney, stuff like that in my workflow now, my creative workflow. I've been a videographer, photographer, graphic designer for years now. And I use, technology on a daily basis. So I'm like, why not use technology to help share my ideas or unpack my ideas? Because none of these ideas are original. And what I mean by that is that as humans, we all share similar experiences, right? So it's not like I can say something today that you've never heard before. A lot of times we just need reminders. So I'm like, let me use ChatGPT as a reminder, right? Just as a template to sort of help flesh out my ideas. And I've been, creating videos for years, and I'm teaching and been giving advice, been a fitness coach for a lot of years. So I don't need this, but I think it'd be fun to sort of explore this and see where this takes us. So here we go.
Part one, your intuition is a compass, not a myth, right? You already know what feels right. You just learned to second guess it. How many times have you ignored your gut only to regret it later? How often do you feel a pull to do something and then talk yourself out of it?
And I can attest to this, right? Like I said a moment ago, I feel like a lot of times in life, yes, you always should learn new things, right? You can learn from people that have done things, people that have succeeded, people that have failed. But a lot of times we know the answer. But I think we feel a little bit safer if we can go outside of ourselves to either one, get confirmation on something we feel deep down in our inside, or we can ask someone a question or get advice from someone. And if it doesn't work out, we can sort of like share that blank. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is a subconscious. It's not something we do consciously, but a lot of times we have the answers within ourselves. We just wonder if we have the discipline or the resources or the focus and stuff like that to carry out what we feel is right. Jim Carrey, the comedian from back in the day, I think he still does work and stuff like that. He's sort of like on the level now. He made a comment years ago, and he was like, you can fail at, when people like, what if you try to do something like go off the beaten path and you fail, right? He was like, well, you can also succeed on the straight and narrow path, the path that you're not necessarily excited about. Succeed in that, but then also fail, right? What if you tried to be an accountant or something that felt safe and you got fired, right? Or you tried to be a teacher, even though you wanted to be a filmmaker, something like that. And, something bad happened at the job, right? You lost your job, or, you can't make ends meet because the job just doesn't pay enough, right? So you can fail at trying to follow your intuition, but you can also fail at not following your intuition. So he's like, and I have to agree with him, you may as well give it a shot. You may as well try to succeed at something you really want to do or something you feel compelled to do. Even if you're not 100% sure you should be doing something. I think a lot of times we should listen to our intuition and just start taking those steps and stuff like that. All right. So let's continue.
We're trained to outsource our truth, to Google it, to fit in, to ask someone. But here's the truth. You were born with an internal compass. It's called intuition.
We all have intuition. You know what intuition is. Sometimes you get a bad feeling about somebody. Sometimes you get a bad feeling about a situation, right? Premonition. I think it's like ingrained in our DNA, intuition.
It's ancient, it's real, and it's always with you. The more you listen, the louder it gets. But first you have to pause.
And I think this is important. This is why things like meditation is important. Because meditation it's like a muscle, right? It's similar to like exercising. when you first start to exercise, you may not have a lot of strength. You may feel beat and tired after your workout, right? But the more you do it, the more you develop that muscle. Your body breaks down. And then after the body breaks down, it builds back up, it heals, and now it's more reinforced. It has more information. And then moving forward, you can move through life and move through that workout with more strength and more grace and stuff like that. So I think our intuition has to be exercised too. And when we decide not to listen to ourselves, when we decide not to listen to our intuitions, we can get weak, right? Or it's just not strong, right? So you don't trust it. You don't trust it. Similarly, again, to the putting in a workout standpoint, you don't trust that you can bench this 150-pound barbell, right? But if you start lifting 75 pounds here, 80 pounds here, 100 pounds there, then you're like, I can actually build myself up to 150 pounds, but it just takes the reps. So you have to get those reps in with intuition. Even as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself too. But I digress. Let's continue.
You've got to feel beneath the noise. Ask yourself, what is my gut trying to say? What am I feeling that I've been ignoring?
And I'm going to give you the takeaway after that, right? What is noise? Go back a second ago.
You got to feel beneath the noise. What is noise?
Russell Simmons and a lot of people that meditate, right? Transcendental meditation is something I try to do often, right? It doesn't always happen, but when I do it, I feel great. Noise is just like distractions, man. Noise can come in the form of many things. It could be people in your life. It could be a job or situation you're not excited about. Noise can be fear. Noise can be anxiety. Noise can be bad habits that you have, whether it's like lust, whether it's, not dialing into your spirituality. Noise comes in many forms. And that noise just sort of clouds your intuition or just clouds your decision making. It's like a weight, right? It just impedes your progress. So one of the best ways to get rid of noise is, one, to meditate, to get quiet, like I said moments ago, to pause, right? To analyze, where you are, like what's your place here on this earth, right? So to get rid of noise is to sort of like lighten up the load so you can move forward, right? So here's the takeaway here's the takeaway.
You don't need to figure everything out. You just need to get quiet enough to hear what's already in there.
Meditation, exercise, not dialing into social media as soon as you wake up, right? You have to take these moments throughout the day to get quiet, man, to quiet the noise so that you can see a little bit more clearer, even if you don't have the full 10-step process planned out. You got to get quiet enough at least to see the first step or two, right? Action step.
Every morning for the next 7 days, take 5 minutes to sit in silence. Before your phone, before the world, ask yourself, what do I already know that I've been avoiding? Write it down, no editing, no judgment, just listen and write. What comes out may surprise you.
Now, you can take this how you want to. Some people like to write. Sometimes I'm in a writing season. Most times I'm not. But the sit down for 5 minutes thing, I think any of us could do. And that can come in many forms. Some people can sit in quiet. For you may be prayer. If you're a Christian or a Muslim or you practice some kind of spiritual, some kind of religion. It could be meditation, transcendental meditation, affirmations. It could literally just be being quiet, right? Where you're not saying anything. You're just kind of letting your thoughts come and go, right? I would say, it could be a workout. Well, it could be stretching, right? Because we don't want to do something like too active, but it could be stretching where you just let yourself chill. And when I said a few moments ago, find your place here on the earth. Like sometimes when I'm in an airplane, for example, I feel like being in an airplane is one of the most, outside of like the hustle and bustle, but it's peaceful and it gives me good perspective because being way up in the sky and looking down is sort of like, not that it minimizes the things you have on your to-do list, right? Or the things you have on your plate, but it gives you perspective of like, yo, there's a big world out here, man. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot going on. You know what I mean? And my, problem that I thought was so big, like maybe it's not so big and maybe it's not so, unreachable, or like, this isn't something that I can't turn around in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead and take your time, take your 5 minutes, take your 10 minutes, something like that to help give yourself that perspective. You may not be able to be on a plane every day to get that perspective, but take the time on a regular basis to give yourself perspective and not to sound cliche, but like be grateful for what you have in your life and who you are in your life and how far you've come. Right? I think that goes a long way. Part 2.
Self-trust is a muscle, not a trait.
Going back to what we said a little while ago.
Listening to yourself only works when you act on what you hear. It's a muscle.
And I think it works either way. If you have intuition, right? If you tap into your intuition, same thing, with a workout. If you work out, even though it may be a struggle at first, you build that muscle. But every time you decide not to work out, you're actually reinforcing that. I guess you can call it a negative habit or less than productive habit. You're reinforcing that too. You know what I'm saying? So I think what you want to do, not that I think, but you have to take some sort of action to build your belief that you can take action, right? That you're not a weakling, right?
So listening to yourself only works when you act on what you hear. This is where most people get stuck. They feel the truth. They don't move on it. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. It's scary. It might disappoint someone. But you know what's worse than discomfort? Living a life that doesn't feel like yours.
Right? And I'm pretty sure you've heard the term, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, or in order to succeed, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that is just one of the truths of life. Life, man, is just like at some point, even if you love what you do, right? Even if you could completely sold out, head over heels in love with what you do, there's going to be certain parts of it that you're not 100% excited to do. You take an NBA player, right? As great as that life probably is, it may seem outside looking in, I'm pretty sure there's things that they don't feel like doing. Maybe it's a practice. Maybe it's, talking to the media. Maybe it's talking to the media after a bad game. There's a lot of things in every industry. And as much as, even if you love it, that you're not going to want to do, but you have to, I guess, build the muscle of being comfortable being uncomfortable. And that can only strengthen your resolve and stuff like that, right?
Every time you trust your voice, you strengthen it. You build a reputation with yourself. You become the kind of person who follows through on what feels true. That's how confidence is built. The takeaway: you don't need confidence to act. You gain confidence by acting on what is right for you.
So you don't have to start out being strong. You just have to exercise whatever muscle to become stronger. I'll read that again.
You don't need confidence to act. You need confidence. You gain confidence by acting on what's right for you. Here's the action step. Think of one small decision you've been avoiding. Just one.
And we all have at least one of those.
Now ask, if I fully trusted myself, what would I do next? Do that today. Send the email, set the boundary, sign up, quit, speak up. Start small, but start now.
Simple stuff. And then going back to what I said at the beginning, these aren't things you have not heard before, but a lot of times we just need reminders as human beings. Things just part of the human condition. As simple as we are, as complex as we can be, with all the moving parts and all the layers and nuances of life, we are simple creatures too. A lot of times we just need a reminder, right? A review, right? So find something that you can do, whether it's create that YouTube video, whether it's write a script, whether it's, sign up for a subscription, call that person, whatever it may be. Start with something small, an actionable step. This is like your first workout, right? This may even not be your first workout. This may just be like you ordering the dumbbells from Amazon, right? Metaphorically. But just do something today, right, to help you start to build that muscle. Closing thoughts?
You don't need another guru.
Obviously, I'm not a guru.
I know you don't need another guru. You don't need another checklist. Another person's voice in your head. You just need to remember. You've had the answers all along. If someone life feels loud, confusing, or overwhelming, come back to this truth. You already know. You just have to listen, trust your voice, build your life.
If you enjoyed this, if you found some value in this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe it, share it with someone that you think could use similar advice or similar reminders, y'all. And as always, ABC, always be creating, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.